tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be here because I'm Iron Man.
I am. I know. I can't. How does he say it in the movie? He's like, I am Iron Man. Or no, like,
yeah,
I am Iron Man. I can't. I don't know.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Need to rewatch that film. Maybe.
Should have done it before Endgame. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Missed the boat on that one. So today in the trophy cabinet, silver trophy for Dreams VR coming soon, a gold trophy for a bunch of PlayStation indies, aka I get to talk about F.I.S.T again. It's nearly 100 episodes later, and we hit a platinum for Iron Man VR as we're talking about. But first, just to quickly cover this, because of course it's like heavily PlayStation related and there's not much to talk about, but in case you don't know, EuroGamer writes, Naughty Dog has condemned Harassment after a weekend in which The Last of Us 2 developers revealed death threats. Quote,
yeah, they didn't revel in the death threats.
They certainly did not revel in their death threats. No, they revealed death threats. Quote, although we welcome critical discussion, we condemn any form of harassment or threats directed towards our team and cast. Naughty Dog said in a tweet, their safety is our priority, but we must all work together to root out this type of behavior and maintain a constructive and compassionate discourse. So the first person, I'm sure most people have seen this, but in case, you know, like the first person was Laura Bailey. She posted all these screenshots of people saying horrible shit. Was there anyone else? In case I'm missing someone, like none of the other people, like Neil Druckmann was second, but there was no one else.
Not from the team, I believe.
No.
Obviously, they were the two major people you would expect based on what people will get upset about and that kind of thing. Obviously, Laura plays a certain character in the game. I don't know if I'm allowed to say at this point.
Yeah, I'm still very much like
that. People didn't like and did things that people didn't like, and obviously she's just performing a role. I don't think there's any example of something in which you should send death threats to anybody. Yeah,
Trump.
Not even him. I don't think would be smart to send death threats because I mean,
it's probably illegal in America.
He'll probably follow through. And
as far as people that potentially could deserve it, Hitler?
I just think there's
Trump.
maybe more mature things to do, more mature things, or proactive, or actually things that you could do that could actually change things rather than some random DM or message on Twitter.
Like, obviously, don't send death threats to anyone. Even if it's potentially someone who's doing horrible things, like I don't know, who's someone I don't like, Dave Rubin.
Listen, there's a lot of people doing a lot of terrible stuff recently, so
like I wouldn't send death threats to people. What I'd usually do if someone I don't like is I block or mute them. You know, it's pretty, and I move on with my life. Dave Rubin, for example, he's muted because I don't want his shit on my timeline. So if you're like, hey, I don't like Naughty Dog and I don't like what they did with the game, go get your money back.
Trade that game in.
Naughty Dog, block Neil Druckmann, whoever the fuck else, and move on with your life. It's pretty simple, right? You know, like that's anyway. It's a fucking video game. It could be a movie, it could be a book, it could be something. I understand that some people are upset about a certain storyline decision that happens, but guess what? It's fucking fiction, and people, it's not your story, right? If you want to write a better version of this story, go write this story again, where it's slightly similar, but not similar enough that you could actually get sued for copyright. But people are like, I'm pretty sure they're just doing their own version of the story that was told in The Last of Us, but they could never prove it in court. And then you change the story decision that you dislike, and then you turn that into a movie or a TV show. Okay, get off your fucking fat asses and do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much wraps it up, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Interesting that a game about hate obviously induced so much hate.
You know, I don't think it's a spoiler to say in retrospect. I actually think it's a game about love, Ash. You know?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
If you want to,
all I'm saying, none of those clickers got any.
No.
No death threats for any of those clickers.
Well, I tweeted out, what's his face from Walking Dead never got death threats, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right?
No, because he was more threatening. Nobody wants to get on his bad side.
But why didn't he get death threats? Like, if you know what I'm hinting at, you know what I'm hinting at.
Yeah.
You know, if you know the stories of both these properties, why? Because he's a man, right? Laura Bailey, woman.
I mean, you can dissect a number of different reasons, maybe why.
I mean, Neil Druckmann, I think you'll notice there's a lot of racist, kind of undertones to the attacks he's been getting. So, again, it's not just there's always something, you know? The dark side, the dark underbelly of everyone always comes out. Anyway, don't send hate messages to people. Just fucking block people, mute people, do whatever you need to do. Go just outside, yell into the void. No, they ruined the best thing. They ruined The Last of Us. And then get on with your life, right? Really?
Because guess what? There's so much stuff out there. You'll find something else you'll love.
Go find something else, honestly. Yeah. It's like when I watched Star Wars Episode 9, I was like, this is fucked, eh? You know, like...
Yep.
Fix it up next one, maybe. Star Wars done. No, I mean, it's probably not the best example, but I was generally upset. But like, this is, as much as I'm memeing, at the same time, that movie is the only time, like legit, I was driving home from watching that and I was legit upset. That's the only time I can think I have been so disappointed and upset by what people creating a movie, book, or TV show, game, whatever, have done with their characters and story that I was deeply invested in, that I was actually, no joke, upset by what happened in that. And the way I dealt with it, I made a podcast, right? Okay.
Yep. Talked about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Go find that. Old Man Explosion. So, you know, like...
maybe that's the solution. Instead of sending death threats...
Yeah, make a podcast.
Record just a YouTube video, stick it up on the internet. I'm sure
not many of those.
Send comments to private, and just leave it at that.
Call your channel a 25-cent piece or something like that. You know, where you yell and scream about white people problems. There's a joke there. In case you know what YouTuber I'm. No one knows. The Quartering. He's a fuckhead too. Oh. So, all right, let's move on though. So let's get into some games and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
So the big game that released last week in the PlayStation world was Iron Man VR. It's the first time a lot of people probably strapped on their VR headsets in some time. I got my review out on release date. I don't remember when that posted. Like it was
Friday.
Friday. There you go. I'll tell you what, it's been a week for me. But I give it a 7.5, right?
Yes.
Gave it a 7.5. I enjoy the game. My biggest negative is the load times go forever and ever and ever. And they slightly have fixed them now. So you can't even imagine how long they were when I was playing that shit like pre-release week because code supplied by PlayStation. Or however, you know, replace the thing. But other than that, everything else is sort of smaller issues. And overall, I would say the game did what it sets out to do. Like, it's like, what is the mission structure for an Iron Man VR game? It's like, make you feel like Iron Man. Does it succeed? Question mark. To which I say, yes. Because for the most part, when that game's going, when you're flying around, shooting shit, especially once you get the hang of it, when you get the hang of it and you're able to use one arm to like boost yourself and you're shooting with the other and you've really got the hang of all the controls, because in case you don't know, the move controllers, they still stuck. That's the whole thing. Suck. But they're your hands, and it's like if you put them straight down, you'll go up. You put them in front of you, they'll send you flying backwards. Behind you, obviously, you'll go forward. Like the thrusters, they work how you're thrusting, and then you also use, as Iron Man does, use the same hands to shoot people. So you can use both hands to fly. You can use both hands to shoot. You can use one hand and flying shoot, and there's all sorts of combination. Except for the second you start doing one of each, that's when it kind of gets a little
there's a hover button,
yeah. I'm like the first couple levels, I was always kind of like flying, stopping, shoot, flying, stopping, shoot, and I think that's probably how most people are going to play it until you hit a point. I don't know what level it clicked for me, but there's that point with certain games in general, or VR games especially, where your brain's kind of like, I've got this now. And then I was like flying and shooting at the same time and doing some 6 spins in the air and just generally like punching people while shooting someone. And like, there's a moment where you're like, I get this now. And this is, I'm having a lot of fun. And you will need to get the controls down once you reach, the boss fight, one of the boss fights towards the end of the game, where it's like, okay, this involves a lot of like mastering all the sorts of systems. Not to say the game's super hard, but you got to get there. Story's all right as far as I'm concerned. It's a typical Marvel sort of story. It does delve into some stuff I found quite interesting because the plot revolves around Ghost. In case you don't know, from Ant-Man 2, that's the same character. She basically wants to destroy Tony for the sins of his past. You know, the shady shit he was into before he became Iron Man, which of course was being an arms dealer, siding both sides in conflicts and this sort of thing. If you've watched the original Iron Man movie, you pretty much got what you need to know as to like what you need to know to play this game. And that's what she wants to do. And Iron Man's like, well, look, that's not me anymore. But she's like, fuck you. And I mean, that's the that's the setup for the plot, really. There is one level, my favorite level towards the end of the game, is one where it like delves deeper into the kind of psyche of Tony and has her like kind of picking away at the sins of his past. And that was a really cool level. And I kind of wish they'd done more like that or different kinds of things. But yeah, so I had fun. Story is fine. Doesn't look too hot. Doesn't look too bad. It looks like a PSVR game. Doesn't look like a PC VR game. Doesn't look like an Oculus game. It looks like a PSVR game. PSVR is kind of on its last legs. Move control is absolute dog shit. I'm not going to spend too long on that because I say it every time I talk about PSVR at this point. Absolute dog shit. I'm sick of them. Said it a million times. They suck. I think they suck more for this game because I just think the way you hold them, they don't like coordinate very well to actually holding the way your hands match up in the game. Like I just would get confused with the physicality of it all. But overall, obviously 7.5. I'd say it's very good. I'd say if you got a PSVR, whip it out, stick this one in. Yeah, you're a couple levels in. What are your general impressions at this stage?
Yeah, general impressions, pretty solid VR experience, something completely different to anything that's kind of done before. Obviously, it's cool playing as Iron Man. Obviously, there's that first plane level, which amazing, cool set piece to play through. But again, yeah, the move controls are the main thing that holds you back. I think I just got like the secondary weapons, and just switching between the two is tricky. But no, switching between thrusting that and shooting at the same time is all tricky.
That's one of those things. Similar. So for those listening, when you shoot normally, you kind of just aim with your palms up, kind of thing, is the way it works. Like the guns on the bottom of his palms or whatever, blasters. Sorry. And then to switch to your secondary weapon, you have to do a motion so it's like you're putting your wrists downwards. So then like the little weapons come up in his gauntlets above there. That's how you activate that.
Yeah.
However, again, my problem with that is simply that the way the move controllers, you're holding these two stick things. It just I found it hard for it to be a comfortable. Like it just
transition,
doesn't. Yeah, transition. That's what my struggle was there. Yeah.
And like traversing around, it's still a little bit tricky. I don't know how they get these time trial times down so low. They just seem impossible. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I get a little bit. You feel a little bit motion sick. Like I don't think you could play the whole game in like one big stretch. Obviously, you need to take breaks and that kind of thing. And also, yeah, again, the load times were a frustrating thing. I just peek at my phone like through the bottom corner of the VR. Yeah, and that I know it's like an artistic choice or whatever, but they have sex like at the start of levels. Tony will like say something to a black screen, and then there'll be a massive loading time in between that and the actual level, which is awkward. So why don't you just have him talk over the loading screen?
Yeah, so like they load you. They have you staring at a loading screen which has a bunch of tips on it. They're like, do this, do this.
Good.
The one cool thing in the loading screen is where it shows you the challenges / trophies that like kill this many, destroy 250 enemies using this weapon or whatever. Having that information there and seeing what skin for the Iron Man suit you'll unlock if you achieve that, that's cool. Great. That goes for like 30 seconds, 45 seconds on average. Then it loads into a black screen. And then you hear Tony do his little monologue at the start of each level. Well, I was out and I was in, and then I am Iron Man. Then you stare at the screen for like another 20, 30 seconds as it loads in. And at the end of it, you've spent 60 to 90 seconds loading into each level. It's crazy. I actually think it's the longest VR load time I've played, I think. Like, I definitely can't think of anything else that was this long.
The levels are pretty big, to be fair, for a VR game.
Still, there has to be a point where we're like, come on. Like,
It's going to run real great on the PS5. That's all we're saying.
If anything, this game is really like, you may be like, oh, Dylan, PSVR 2, like coming soon. That's a penny drop dream, you know? But if anything, I think this game proves that PSVR is needed. It's not me being like, oh, that would be great. It is needed. The PSVR is so lacking now.
The interface of the PS5, like the Move controllers, is holding back PSVR development.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, graphic-wise, it doesn't bother me as much as the controls or the performance or anything. Like, I can deal with how the game looks. Because for the most part, the difference between a great-looking PC VR game and a PSVR game, like, it is noticeable, but it's definitely not like 720p to 4K difference as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's not that massive of a jump. It is noticeable, but it's not the end of the world. However,
so not noticeable at all.
To you, maybe. There are other things, like the controllers are the number one issue for me, because just the way you interface with VR games is the controllers, and because the Move controllers are 26 years old or however old they are, it is just unacceptable at this stage. It is fucking shocking. And I cannot handle it. And then the load times, it's like, oh my God, something that takes this long to load. Well, I think load times are one of the biggest issues, on top of the fact that people get turned off having to plug in their VR and everything else. It's like, plug it all in, spend fucking 2 minutes loading. No wonder people are like, oh yeah, I can't be fucked playing VR. That's too much of a hassle. It kind of is. Like, if you have to, like, by the time you plug it all in and turn the game on, unless you already have it set up and raring to go kind of thing, you know? So I'm kind of understanding to a point. So, yeah, PSVR 2, it's needed. Like, if Sony wants to stay relevant in the VR marketplace, that shit needs to be out next year. I'm saying it now. Yeah. It needs to be out next year. Not I want it next year anymore. I'm changing my whole argument. It needs to be. Iron Man's fucking really, like, go play it. Look, if you've got a PSVR, play the game. It's a fun game. Enjoyable game. Like, if you're looking for something to play in VR, go for gold. If you love Iron Man, if you love Marvel, if you love those characters, great, play it. However, you will be like, fuck, yeah, hey, these load times. Something. These fucking controllers. Something.
Yeah.
Get my head in. So that's Iron Man. That was the one big thing.
Yep.
Tsushima next week, of course. So we'll end it next week. We won't be talking about it next week, but yeah, next week, that's it. All right, let's get into the news. First things first. PlayStation Lifestyle Rights report Sony quite smartly held back some PS5 announcements for August State of Play. So, we just found out that Microsoft is doing their event finally on the 23rd of July. And this person, EuroGamer's Tom Phillips, said that July and August will be a tasty Microsoft Sony announcement sandwich, with the Microsoft first-party event coming on July 23rd and a PS5 event to follow next month. In a follow-up tweet, he expressed his excitement for the show and reminded fans that, quote, PlayStation plans to fire back in a state of play soon after. There's not much to talk about here. It's just worth pointing out that, hey, we'll have something. So PlayStation fans, Sony fans, you will have something to look forward to in the near future. Like, it's not all over Red Rover. So, what do you think if they held something back to, like, if Microsoft's coming out with Halo and fucking who knows what else? What did Sony hold back that would be worth putting in a state of play that's maybe not as big as Halo, but could kind of still be like, ha? Like what? I mean, what do we got?
Last of Us 2 multiplayer?
I mean,
or like that be on the nose and people might be like, fuck that game at this point. It might not be the best choice. Yeah, nothing really springs to mind. They obviously went big with the first announcement. Yeah. Unless they're going to announce stuff that's like way far away, like a Spider-Man 2 or God of War 2. They're like, hey, this is we're confirming these are coming to PS5. But yeah, nothing else really springs to mind unless they're announcing PSVR 2.
Yeah, imagine.
Okay,
no. I don't think that's a good way to fire back at all. But yeah,
I mean the other thing would be price and date would be the two big news things that they could include.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They did that.
I guess
damn.
Maybe even just a deeper dive on something like Horizon, or Spider-Man, or a combination of both, paired with the price, and even a look at, I guess, UI and these sorts of things. Like that would be an exciting enough a show for people probably to not fully, like not looking to beat Xbox, because I presume whatever Xbox shows would be probably more exciting than that. Surely.
Fingers crossed for them.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. But like just something that's like, hey, don't forget. Like they don't need to come out and show something that's beating it, just to like, hey, remember. Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense to release date and price if Sony Xbox does at their event next week.
I suppose they would have to, surely. Like if they're not doing it there, then when the fuck are they doing it? On Twitter like a week later kind of thing? So we shall see.
But yeah, there might be hints. I haven't gone back, but there are obviously a lot of studios at the end of that video that didn't present anything, that produced like videos were in that closing segment.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be some clues in there. It could still be like third party stuff.
Yeah.
Or smaller indie stuff, yeah.
Got the indie initiative.
More bug snacks.
Soon, so yeah, there you go. Yeah, bug snacks. Fuck yes, a whole
Second
bug snacks, bug snacks, fucking whatever they're called, state of play. Hell yes, give it to me. Follow up on a story we talked about last week or a week before. I can't even remember at this stage. But Six Access writes, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time will not have microtransactions confirmed. Toys for Bob. Over the last couple of days, there have been speculation that Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time will have microtransactions. The source's confusion was the game's listing on the Microsoft Store, which led to people thinking that there would be extra content in the game that would require real money. Now, developer Toys for Bob has cleared up the issue and confirmed that Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time will not have microtransactions. The confirmation came via a tweet from the developer in which it was stated that old digital versions of the game would get totally tubular skins. It is not yet clear how those who get the physical edition of the game will get access to these skins in the future. So they tweet, there are no microtransactions in Crash 4, hashtag Crash 4. It's what they tweeted. Now, here's what I'm going to say this. I don't think they're lying. I just think they're going to get fucked over by Activision. That's how I feel about it.
They're not in the game currently.
Yeah, they're not in the game currently. They have zero plans for microtransactions currently. As far as they're concerned, they're not lying. And then Activision's going to do exactly what they did to Crash Team Racing. They're going to be like, oh, it's been, 3 months? Microtransactions?
No.
Chuck them in now?
No, I think there'll be like paid DLC in the same way a game like Persona 5 had paid DLC. We can buy skins. That'll be it. And then you'll be able to buy these tubular skins if you bought a physical copy of the game.
Now, not to, we talked about microtransactions and DLC and all this shit on the previous, the Arcade Couch that just came out last week's episode. This week's episode, sorry. You want to go listen to that. And to add on to something I said in that, if Crash Bandicoot is a game in which, as far as I'm concerned, all the fucking skins should be unlockable in the game.
It could be. Because Spider-Man had a bunch of, if you bought it digitally, you unlocked a bunch of the skins, but they were already in the game. You just got them ahead of time. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That's weird. It's weird.
So it could just be that thing.
I hope so. Because if there's PS1 games, right? Can you imagine all the PS1 games where it's like, oh, secret skin if you fucking press circle and X under this apple tree, or oh, if you beat this level under 2 minutes, you get the secret skin for this thing. They're all in the goddamn game. You don't have to buy them. The only games I'm okay with buying skins for are like free-to-play games. All right, that makes sense. I can't believe that when Borderlands 3 came out, people were like, there were headlines of stories being like, all the skins are in the game. And I'm like, yeah, they fucking should be. Like, why is this the thing?
Wow, Dylan. Why you would fuck me on this is beyond me.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Shout out, so we'll see. We'll see. And as I just said, I'm expecting somewhere along the 3 to 6 month period they'll just add in microtransactions. So if the game comes out and we're like, oh, it's great, it's fucking 10 out of 10, love this game, Crash Bandicoot, world legend, love him, and no microtransactions, fuck yes. And then 3 months later, they're like, taxing time, take that. So,
but listen, you don't have to buy them.
I know. It doesn't matter, Ash.
Just block the game and then you'll be fine.
I'll block Toys for Bob because I have to blame someone. block Activision.
And you can't. Yeah.
I can't what?
Can't block Activision.
Why?
Job, that would be difficult.
Yeah, probably.
To block one of the biggest publishers in the world.
It's a bit awkward. I won't block anyone. I'll just yell into the internet void, get angry. I'll just do a podcast about it.
Yeah. And it'll be good, yeah.
That's how I solve all my issues, you know. Kotaku writes, Sony's looking at buying Warframe's parent company. So a new Bloomberg report says Sony are looking at acquiring Leiyu, I think that's how you say it, Leiyu Technologies Holdings, a Hong Kong corporation that owns the developers behind Warframe, Gears Tactics, Civilization Online, and the publishers of Samurai Showdown. The company has been in acquisition talks with iDream Sky, a firm backed by the Chinese mega conglomerate Tencent, and other firms since late last year. Bloomberg reported that another Shenzhen listed company made an offer for Leiyu in May, and Sony is reportedly hoping to swoop in. Along with Digital Extremists, the makers of Warframe, Leiyu is also the parent company for makers of Gears Tactics and Enemy Territory Splash Damage. The coalition's Microsoft's first-party studio guided the development of Gears Tactics, but Splash Damage was the primary developer. For those that are like, but surely Gears was made by... It wasn't.
The coalition, no.
Yeah. Leiyu has also secured a deal with Amazon to work on a free-to-play online multiplayer Lord of the Rings game. Leiyu will market and handle the game's operation in China and Taiwan, while Amazon, whose first-party Crucible launched only to return to a closed beta weeks later. We didn't talk about that anyway, but fuck, it's hilarious. Will handle worldwide duties. A Sony acquisition of Leiyu would make sense on the verge of a new console generation. The company has already been outspoken about doubling down on console exclusives and exclusive releases, and earlier this year, Sony acquired Spider-Man makers Insomniac Games for a substantial $328 million. So what do you think about Sony acquiring Leiyu?
I mean, it could be good. I mean, Warframe's obviously got a big market because it's still going all these years later. I guess you would depend on how much it's going to cost. I mean, I can't imagine that lineup. It's not like it's hard to say. Yeah, they should deserve the same amount of money as Insomniac, who.
It'll cost them a shit ton more than Insomniac because they're buying more than one.
Yeah, they're buying more than one studio. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The other point that isn't brought up in this article that I was looking through on Wikipedia, apparently one of the subsidiaries of Leiyu is Athlon Games, who came up in the news last year because they're one of the shareholders and currently the publishing partner for the new Telltale games.
Are they?
They're doing all the they're doing the distribution and everything for the new Telltale games. So Sony could end up
a weird world.
The publisher of Telltale games.
What a weird
some weird
shit happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for people that don't care about Warframe, it's obviously like, why would they care? But it's like, it's not just, obviously it's not just buying Warframe, as we said. There's several developers there, including the team that just did Gears Tactics. But even let's just boil it down to like, let's pretend they're only buying the Warframe developer for a hot second to like kind of boil that down. And does that make sense? An answer I would say is, I guess, kind of like it's a multiplayer, free-to-play multiplayer studio that's been successful to the point that they have their own Warframe convention that's on this year's one's on next month, I think is when it's on there. Like that's how popular that game has got now. Like it has a dedicated audience. They are very successful in what they're doing. So would Sony if Sony brought Warframe, what would they do then? And I would say, well, they would probably just leave Warframe. I think they would probably be smart enough to do that. And obviously they would start slowly breaking in profits backwards from that game's microtransactions and whatever else. But they may invest more money into that team and be like, hey, can a bunch of you...
What do you want to do next?
Yeah, can a bunch of you split off and make another IP that is just for us? Like, just for console? Because Warframe's on PC, right? I'm not just making that up.
Warframe's on everything,
yeah. So, it's like
even
they would...
Switch.
Really? Fucking... Well, what am I surprised? So, I reckon if they got it, it's like, let's leave Warframe. That's fine. Do whatever the fuck you want.
In the same way Xbox has left Minecraft and everything.
Yeah.
Obviously on a different scale, but yes.
Kind of, yeah. But the point is similar. And then they would be like, oh, okay, mate, can you make us an actual Sony free-to-play first-person shooter or some multiplayer game or whatever? Because they don't have Killzone anymore. I don't know what Sony has in the multiplayer front anymore. Like, I'm not saying that Killzone was ever super popular, but like it was all Sony fans kind of had, so it was popular enough on
They've got Predator.
You know, that doesn't count. I think that one quite counts. But at least but that's what I'm saying. Back on the PS3 days, they did have, I'm not saying Xbox level of success with multiplayer stuff, but they did have, like, people enjoyed playing Killzone. Killzone was fine. I played my share. Some of the Resistance multiplayer stuff, I had some fun with that stuff too. People that got into Uncharted obviously liked playing Uncharted. I didn't really like Uncharted multiplayer.
Some people like
Buddy Watson loved The Last of Us multiplayer. You know, like, so there was some levels, but when I'm thinking about PS4, I'm literally like, I guess the original Killzone had multiplayer. Shadowfall, I think, at the start of the generation, but fuck, most people didn't like that game. I didn't particularly have much love for it. And like past that, what the fuck have they put out with multiplayer in it? Uncharted 4? Yes? Yeah, that did have multiplayer. But other than that, what? I can't think of anything. Nothing, right?
No, I don't.
Last of Us Remastered,
Dreams.
I guess? Want to count that? Dreams, I guess, yeah.
Dreams?
I mean,
Little Big Planet?
Not really. No. So yeah, they really kind of sunk their own battleship in this generation when it came to.
No, they just shifted their focus to single player experiences, seeing as other places were doing the multiplayer stuff better.
Yeah, and it
they're just like, hey, we got the deal with Call of Duty. We don't need to bother doing anything with multiplayer.
Yeah, and you're right, and that is the smart move, and I would say it worked out well for them between God of War and Spider-Man and Last of Us 2 and Tsushima, if that's good, and whatever the fuck else.
Only like the biggest selling games of this generation. So.
Yeah, are all Sony first party games. So that's good. But obviously now would be a good point to be like, look, that ship seems to be all right. You know? Do we want to look at the burning rubble smoke that once was our multiplayer games and try and rebuild that up at some stage? Because it's so funny, on PS3 they had so much shit. Like they dipped their hand into trying so many random multiplayer things. They even had that thing, Dust or whatever, that tied into fucking Evil Line.
They had Drawn to Death. Remember?
Oh fuck yeah, love that. Well, I love that for the week it was available, and then everyone stopped playing it, and it got cancelled. Love that. Was that list of PS Plus games? Is that game counted? Because you can't get it anymore. So was that counted as one of the games? Here, you've saved $20 by getting Drawn to Death. No longer available because no one fucking played it. Doesn't count. Come on, get the hell out of here. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. All right, so PlayStation Indies. If you love a good indie, now's the time to get your indie dance on. So Shuhei Yoshida, over at the PlayStation blog, wrote up this thing saying, "Hi everyone. As you may have noticed, I've been a long-time fan of indie games, and ever since I was appointed as head of Indies Initiative for PlayStation in November last year," which I believe we would have talked about. I mean, it seems like 10 years ago at this point, but I recall talking about it. I have been working closely with all departments at Sony Interactive Entertainment to elevate our efforts to help make indie developers' lives easier and their titles shine in the super competitive video game market. I'm pleased to formally announce the PlayStation Indies Initiative. With PlayStation Indies, we hope to spotlight and support the best of the indie games being published on PlayStation and the entire indie community as a whole. Our goal is to make PlayStation the best place to develop, find, and play indie games. So none of this is super surprising, because obviously we knew this is what Shu was doing. We knew when he left that his role was literally find fucking indie games, you know, like that was his role. So when this happened, it's like, hey, there we go, it's happening. And
look, he's doing his job. Crazy.
He's doing his job. Fucking madness. And also, I don't think this should be surprising to anyone that watched the PS5 Future Gaming event, because it was like, hey, Ratchet & Clank and 20 indie games, and hey, Spider-Man and another 20. Like, I'm exaggerating, but my point is that there was a good mix of indie amongst the bigger games, which kind of set a tone for the PS5 reveal, which was like, we're going to have a bit of everything. Like, you remember when you used to say PlayStation Indies go well when we had the PS Vita? Remember that was the thing? Yeah, we're going back to that time. So they quote unquote revealed 9 games. Going to run down a list here, stopping ones that are interesting and stopping the most interesting one. But most of these have already been revealed. They're just claiming them now at this point, you know, like, some of these were proper reveals, some were not. So for example, Worms Rumble, So this is kind of PS4.
I find it a little bit hard to call this an indie.
I don't know.
Team 17's been around for ages, and I believe they've been publishing games and that kind of stuff. So, okay.
I think that's like on the edge of a high end indie at this point. You know, there's teams where they're like, "Oh, we're indie," and you're like 50 people, and you publish games that make $1 million. It's okay. But
Wikipedia says they've got 200 employees.
There you go. See, I wasn't even exaggerating. I was undershooting the market there. So they've got this game looks cool though, and I'm not even a big Worms fan. So this game is Worms Battle Royale, and I'm kind of down for this. So I can't believe that Worms is actually 30 years old. That's kind of fucked up. But so it's Worms in real time, featuring your regular Worms weapons and characters and whatever else. And they got
to clarify, Worms is 25.
What?
Team 17 is 30. Worms is 25.
Okay. In
the game Worms, not Worms in general.
Wow. In Last Worm Standing, it'll be 32 players going up against each other once again. I mean, this time once you've been downed, you're out, but don't worry, you'll be able to spectate the action afterwards, and you can check out the other players or jump straight into another match if you're eager to check out more action. Last Squad Standing will see 10 teams of free players battle out to be crowned champion of the arena. You'll be able to play with your friends on other platforms and battle it out with others who dare to challenge you. So it's Worms action with a Battle Royale mechanic, because fuck it, everything has to have a Battle Royale mechanic at this stage. So it's basically, it's like Worms 3D, but Battle Royale, I guess, for people who like Worms games. So that's cool. That's exciting. They also had a blog post up for that Haven game, which if you listen to Arcade Couch, you would have heard us, I think, briefly talk about it from
Guerrilla Collective, I believe, and also the other
PC Gaming Show, I think, is the one it was at.
No, what was the
Future Gaming Show.
Yeah.
So this was a game that was at both of those shows during that weird week where there was a bunch of non-E3 events. And that was the first time I saw it, and I was like, damn, this looks really weird and interesting. And everything in this PS blog post was just more weird and interesting. It's a game in which you play as this couple who's like escaped to this planet because they're like, fuck shit. And it's got everything. I really don't know. Like, it's literally RPG combat, flying around a planet, like collecting shit, crafting stuff, co-op, fucking cooking, animals. I don't know. Like, it honestly, puzzles, sex scenes, I think. I don't know. Like, there's just a lot. But either way, I'm all aboard this one. So that one is a cool one, and I'm glad that kind of got a shine during this indie thing. Next one I liked as well. They had Kato there, which was also shown off in one of those things we just mentioned.
Corrective, I believe.
Yeah, and that was another one that I was like, damn, that looks cool. And guess what? It still looks cool when you're watching it on a PlayStation YouTube channel. This game is a puzzler in which you have to move around. How would you describe it? Well, let's look here. They probably describe it here. Kato is set in a beautiful world painstakingly created by the Artful team Sunhead Games, or Kato makes Sunhead's foray into console games. They're no strangers to carefully crafted games with innovative mechanics. Blah, 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 blah.
In this delightful adventure wrapped around the unique world-shifting puzzle mechanic, you master cartography. As you rearrange pieces of the map, you see the world change. Connect missing pieces of the map to discover mysterious lands, uncovering their secrets. So yeah, you just move around pieces of a map in different ways to open up different sections of the map and that kind of thing. Yeah,
and like move characters around and like get someone's like, oh, I need to get to here, and you bring that down to them, or you move them up to it, kind of thing. Yeah, it looks fun. It looks interesting. It's got really unique, interesting art style, lots of cool design characters and stuff like that. Puzzle mechanic seems like it could be deceivingly easy, I guess, depending on the amount you've got to do during one level, I guess. It could start out very simple and get complicated pretty quickly, I think. So I'm keen. I think that one looks fun. Then you got this one called Recompile, which I've also seen somewhere, but I don't know if it was in one of those events or I'd seen it like a year ago. But I don't know. I can't keep up with the amount of shit I've been watching the last month, I swear, at this stage. But it's like I don't know, you're like playing a VHS come to life. I don't know. You play as a sentient virus trying to escape deletion as you infiltrate the digital virtual world of the mainframe in an effort to achieve sapience and bring about the first technological singularity. Humankind depends on it, but how you accomplish this will be up to you. It looks fun. It's like a third-person shooter, basically, but in like a very colorful and obviously like sci-fi environment type thing. Could be fun.
Yeah. Interesting. This is listed as the only one for PS5 only.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the videos and stuff they got up, like I think it looks. You're watching, you're like, oh, it doesn't look that complicated. But at the same time, I feel like even the character design, because it's like all these little blocks and stuff. If they're really going mad on the detail of that, that's a lot of singular, like glowy pixels happening. You know what I mean? Like lots of. It's like Resogun where they had all the.
Yep.
And then I think I'm going to skip the next couple because I didn't really have none of them particularly grabbed me. Apart from the only one that we came here to talk about.
Listen, the first one we saw, first one announced, I think we must have been playing Apex or something. I'm pretty sure you like freaked out or something.
Yeah. So we was playing Apex. We're in the queue. Game's loading. I look over the tweet deck on my computer as I have it open. I see F.I.S.T trailer something, and I was like, "Oh my baby Jesus!" Here we go, boys and ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go. In case you don't know, or you've only recently started talking about or listening to the show, I guess. Episode 101, because of course I had to go look it up. Episode 101, we ran through a bunch of games that were shown off during this
a Chinese gaming showcase.
Some sort. Yeah, a bunch of indies from Chinese developers or being published by
Sony. Yeah.
Sony, yeah.
No, it was Sony, yeah, push.
Yeah. But they were like, I remember going into it being like, here's a, because I think I saw an article on like some website like Six Axis or something. I was like, fuck, how does this stuff just like kind of creep past? I'm like, I don't care what country it's from. If Sony's involved in, publishing indies anywhere, I would like to know that information, please. And we ran through all the games, and none of them were particularly memorable, apart from one, which is F.I.S.T, which at the time I said was going to be Game of the Year. Now, it didn't come out that year. It's coming out this year, apparently, though. So now it's officially Game of the Year time, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, Last of Us.
Yeah, sorry, Last. Let's get the fuck out of here. And the reason I mean, you watch the trailer, and I feel, again, this latest trailer they put out, which is, they've officially got a title for the game now. Because originally, I did go back and look at the show notes and everything. It's like, when we was talking about it, then the game was just called F.I.S.T bracket working title. And now the official title for the game is F.I.S.T Forged in Shadow Torch. Which, I gotta be honest, I think working title rolls off the tongue a bit simpler, but that's fine. The latest trailer... the latest trailer, I think, is just everything, again, that kind of grabbed my attention with the game originally. Which is... character designs, because you got this suited up rabbit with giant knuckle machine thing on it. That's awesome. The other character designs we see in this trailer, including the bad guy robots and also the bear friend, which I believe is the character that gets kidnapped, which sends our character on a mission to save them. But then also just the aesthetic and the background design and the combat and everything. It just looks super fun and stands out. They say they're like, Diesel Punk. Gotta be honest. Don't know much about Diesel Punk. Wish I could pretend I do.
It's just steampunk, but
diesel.
have to put diesel in.
Yeah, they're like, nah, not unleaded. That's steam. Fuck off, diesel.
Yeah. So you have to stop at a petrol station every like couple of levels. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. So I don't know really what Diesel Punk is. I could not describe like the way I can kind of describe to you what cyberpunk looks like in my head, because I feel like everyone has. Obviously, we've kind of been spoiled for cyberpunk type stuff. Steampunk, I think, is also pretty easy to describe. I don't know fuck all about Diesel Punk. If I've watched or played stuff that's Diesel Punk, I'm sorry, I never clicked onto it. But the overall design and the way this game looks, I'm all about it. Love it. Lots of fantastic, beautiful 3D environments, backgrounds, these sorts of things. Certain points, it kind of looks like it's Final Fantasy VII Midgar kind of thing, but that's cool. Can get down to it. And the way they describe the game, I think when we talked about it on that episode 101, because we didn't have much to go on other than what we saw in that trailer at the time, I was like, I think I thought of it more as just a general, like a side-scrolly Metroidvania, more proper Metroidvania. The way they talk about it in this blog post, though, is it definitely sounds like it's a lot more open and a lot more about exploration and these sorts of things than we may have originally guessed, even though the combat still looks, like that sort of genre inspired, where it's going to be like certain weapons are good against this enemy and you counter, dodge, blah, 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 do this sort of thing. But they talk a lot about like, there's heaps of secrets are fine and you'll have to double back, explore, and not like your typical Metroidvania thing where it's like, I'll get this thing and then you go back and then you can unlock it, blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, there'll be like these sort of open worldish hub areas where you can explore and find secrets and find potential, like, mini stories and these sorts of things. So I'm like, this is cool. This sounds great. So Fist, forged in Shadow Torch. This is amazing. It was one of those things where I was like sort of memeing when I named that episode, but I was like, this game looks awesome. Half memeing, half truth. And then it kind of just disappeared. I'm like, oh, fuck. Then it comes back. Yeah, baby. What do you think, though? What do you think of the trailer?
Great trailer. More Fist. The bear at the start looks cool, so it looks like there's going to be more interesting characters and that kind of thing. Probably a bit more fleshed out than we probably thought it was going to, or more story heavy than we probably thought it was going to be. Yeah, they explain the story is that this was once a planet of peaceful animals just living. Then the planet gets invaded by machines, and that obviously fucks everything up, and there's still kind of an ongoing war with the machines. From what I understand, maybe it's to the point where it's like there's sort of a civilian group fighting back, but the machines are sort of one at this point, is the way it definitely seems like. It's the story of some rebels. Yeah,
basically. Because our character, which I think is named like Ryu or something like that, I can't find it here fast enough, but definitely starts with R, I remember. Yeah, Rayton. Sorry, Rayton. So Rayton is the bunny, and it sounds like the bunny used to be like did some fighting, but then was like, fuck this shit, and kind of retired. And then the bear you see in the trailer, and I love that bear. The bear, is the way I took it, is kidnapped by the robots to obviously help them build something, because they show in the trailer he's a builder of some sort, and I would presume built Rayton's fucking fist machine or whatever. And then because his friend gets kidnapped, Rayton's like, you know what? I'm going to put some fist to metal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Mess some robots up.
Yeah, definitely seems because there is going to be more story though. Because even there's that point in the trailer where the photograph like flips down, you see Rayton, you see the bear, you see some other people, I guess, that were all part of this friendship group or what have you. So I would assume you'll get to meet and talk to all those characters throughout the game, and maybe have them join you on your group to get revenge or to help you take down the robots or something like that. Yeah, I'm all about it. Looks really cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
good.
Yeah, looks really, really cool. Cannot wait to play Fist Forged of the. I've already forgot the full title. Shadow Torch. I'm never going to remember. It's fucking Fist, right? Look, they call it Fist. Then they add a bunch of subtitle. I don't get out of here. All right, so a couple of stories to go for, but nothing is going to be quite as exciting as Fist, to be honest. But that's fine.
Yeah.
I had to mention this because I saw this. I was like, "What the fuck?" So. Push Square had the story up, and I read the headline. It's like, track your PS4 playtime of this website, and I was like, that sounds great. Give me a read. So I'm not going to read it because I'll just basically explain it. Someone has made a website where you set up a bot basically, and then you befriend the bot account, like a fake PSN account, and then they've got it set up so that account will always stay online, and it will always see when you're online, whenever you're playing games, etc., etc., etc. So then it begins to track how long you play games for, basically. Like on premise, it's very simple to understand. It's as if you were literally sitting, like if I never slept and I was a robot and I watched what you played all day, I could track what the fuck, how many hours you put in things, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very simple in premise. But of course, in premise, yeah. The second you hide a game, play something offline, hidden, etc., it's obviously not going to count that because it can't see that information. It can only see what is on your public profile, friends list. So I was like, you know what? This is kind of cool. At the same time, don't know if you're aware, the PS5 is coming, so maybe we hopefully won't need this. But reading this article did just make me go, why the fuck has it ever come to this? Honestly, why could Sony not get their fucking shit together during this whole generation and just add a feature so we can track how many hours we play in games? You would think it's such a simple thing. Wouldn't you? Even Nintendo's one-upped them on this. That's how fucked we are. Nintendo.
Listen, gamers like stats.
Yeah.
It's just stat. It's just stat facts.
How am I supposed to show people how much of a hardcore gamer I am if I can't show them my gamer credit card hours?
I mean,
you know,
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to hide some stuff. Like they don't want you to know that they didn't play certain games for a certain amount of time.
That's crazy because people just turn that off anyway. So
yeah, set this stuff to private so you can hide all of those kind of things. No.
Look, if you set your profile to private, I got big questions. Stop being a coward, right? I'm private your trophies. I'm private your profile. Get the fuck out of here. So my profile's public, right? You can go look at my trophies. Like, oh, Dylan, do the thing. Look at my trophies, all right? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Now,
you
what
can
I
go look
do
at my
want,
trophies, say, Ash, why you got all this 1%?
Ash did terrible. Ash has only played 2 levels of Iron Man. He's telling the truth on the podcast. Fuck, he was telling the truth. That dirty fucker. He wasn't lying. He didn't. He tried. He definitely did tell the truth. That is awkward, eh? But what I want is I want to be able to look at my trophies, and I want to be able to go, oh look, I got the platinum, and then it says what PSN profiles tells me, which is you got to.
How long it took?
Yeah, how long did it take you to get a platinum? Except for with PSN profiles, it just counts the overall time. So like, if you play a game and go to sleep and then plat it in the morning, it's like it took you 18 hours to plat it, and I'm like, but it didn't. Yeah, like that's I want. Well,
to be fair,
play time in plat time.
This system would also include time that the game's suspended in the background.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as it shows, yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, it's definitely not rock solid.
It's not rock solid. So Sony should come in and do a good thing. So yes.
If they show the UI in our imaginary event, I'm going to be sitting there like, oh yeah, this looks cool. Sure. Yeah, exciting features, cool. The one way to get a real tick out of me is the second they start showing anything to do with stats. Second they show that, I'm like, damn, fucking yes. Damn. Yes, next gen. Next gen.
Next gen.
Love some stats. It's just shit. It is absolute shit. And I've pretty sure I've said it like 13 times on this podcast. But goddamn, like Nintendo stats, Xbox stats, fucking Steam stats. Pretty sure my damn phone tells me how long I've played games for, like certain games. And my PlayStation can't tell me? The fuck? Get out of here. All right, fix that shit. All right, so another little random tidbit that...
we'll say, obviously, if you do want to do it, you go to ps-timetracker.com. You add your friend. You friends this bot. I will note that at time of recording, the account has gotten too many friend requests, so Sony has blocked it for 24 hours.
It's fine. I'll make another one. You know, it's fine. I'm actually surprised so many people are doing it because I looked at it. I opened the article going, that sounds really interesting, obviously. And then as soon as I read it, I was like, that's not what I want. That's not like foolproof or anything.
That's
so
weird. Yeah.
And also, anytime I'm playing anything for review, the only time I put my profile on private, then I'm not going to be able to know how long I played. And I'm like, not about that. Not about that life at all. So, you know how they always say like an angel dies every 30 seconds or whatever it is? Yeah. Is that the saying? I think that's the saying, right? Angel is born, angel dies. A fairy dies?
I mean, normally it's something, when something happens, fairy dies. You know, like every time you walk on a crack, a mother breaks her back.
Yeah. Is that a real thing?
Every time you spit on the ground, a troll frowns.
Mama takes a pound. Oh, no, wait. No, okay. So every time... Here, I'll make one up as we go. Because I'll tie it into the story. Hold on. Every time you give your friend a high five, a PlayStation 5 is born. No?
Terrible.
All right, you go. Look,
no, I'm not even going to try. You can't do any of it.
You can't laugh at me and not do it now. All right, everyone listening, you didn't hear it, all right?
Listen, every 30 seconds during a working day, a PlayStation 5 is made. According to this new article from PlayStation Lifestyle.
That's fucking terrible. I absolutely hate it. Yeah, so PlayStation Lifestyle writes, PlayStation's Kizaruzu? Kizaruzu, sure. Factory has the ability to produce a new console every 30 seconds. An interesting article today published by Nike Asia Reviews. Yuji Nita has offered a rare look inside a little-known PlayStation plant located in the place I just said, Japan, that has the ability to put together a new console every 30 seconds. The 31.4 meter long production line was completed in 2018 and is almost entirely automated with just a few employees feeding motherboards to the line and packaging consoles. Everything else is handled by the robots supplied by Mitsubishi. According to Nita, 26 out of 32 robots are dedicated to complex tasks like attaching wires and tapes to the consoles. They said, quote, attaching the flexible flat cable, a tape-like electrical cord requires one robot arm to hold up the cable and another to twist it. The cable then needs to be attached in a specific direction using the right pressure, which may seem simple for a human, but is extremely complex maneuver for a robot. Sony is known to keep its production processes a secret. This is the first time a member of the public was able to step inside what was previously off limits. Nita reported that some parts of the production line are even off limits to Sony's own employees. There's probably no other site that can manipulate robots in this manner, an engineer told Nikki. I created profitable production lines, added Sony Global Manufacturing Operations Architect Hiroyuki Kusakabe. The plant's production lines undergo regular improvements to keep manufacturing profitable, even when console sales begin to slow down towards the end of a life cycle. So I thought this was interesting, not only because I can make the meme about if you want a lift me up during the day, just kind of count to 30 and go, PlayStation 5 was born. Count to 30 again. PlayStation 5 was born. Was that one mine? Mine to me.
My PlayStation was just made.
Yeah. But I mean, in general, it's also just like if you care about, I wouldn't say I've got like a deep fascination with fucking warehouses, but when it comes to like technology stuff or whatever being put together, I've clicked on articles throughout the years, you know, the TV being put together, because you wonder sometimes, you're like, how long does it take?
Listen,
how does the process like?
Just put up the video, please.
Put up of the whole
of a PS5 being made.
Yeah, well, they had the picture, they just couldn't show the whole thing. I'm gonna give away too many secrets. Maybe.
What? No, that 30 seconds before launch. Just
speed it up so no one can add a flash blur the back to it. You know, like zoom. No one can tell what's happening.
Just close-ups.
Yeah, I mean, maybe after it's out, I'll put up a video. That'd be interesting to see, because in general, I do think it's actually, you know, technology's come such a way that, as I just said, nearly everything is just done with these robots. I actually think that's legit, quite impressive as far as how things come.
Yeah.
And PlayStation 5 was born, as I said that. But also, the last story for this week is DualShockers writes, Dreams adds PSVR support on July 22nd. Dreams PSVR support lets players build their next great VR creation next month. The update also adds new tools and accessibility options to the base game. So the update, called Inside the Box, drops next month. And the PSVR Dreams update is completely free. Creators should expect tons of new tutorials and how-tos. It will make learning the ins and outs of VR development much easier. Being able to fully immerse yourself in the sculpting process with the PlayStation Move controller sounds like an incredible experience. It should let you turn your creations into even finer detail. Media Molecules adding several new gadgets and a bunch of new accessibility features with the update as well. Plus, they're tossing in some of their own handcrafted games and art to give players some inspiration. Importantly, you don't have to be in VR to craft VR levels. This opens the door for players without PSVR headset to still create for the VR audience. It also goes the other way, making this a win-win regardless of what gear you own. So, to answer the question that everyone had when they were talking about VR, do you need VR to create VR games? As we just said, no. Do you need VR to play VR games? No. Seems it's a toggle, possibly. You know, like, which I think is a plus and a negative, I guess. Like, I feel like it would be better if some people could, like, tick a box that's like, I only want this played in VR, you know, because they're like, oh, if no one, I don't want anyone fuck around, it just won't be as good. It's kind of, you know, this is my art. I want it to be watched or played the way I intended it to be, kind of thing. But yeah, do you reckon you're gonna dive back in for some VR Dreams when it comes out, or?
I mean, yeah, give it a go. I suspect it'll take a while before we see some solid stuff. I imagine the Munich Molecule stuff will be good in VR, but yeah. I'm sure it'd be more interesting, obviously, if we were more on the creative side, whether that makes a big difference and that kind of thing. I mean, you get some like basic ideas of things that would be cool to do in like VR, like make a drum set VR. That seems like a simple thing.
Yeah, and it would be a lot more fun.
Yeah,
than if it wasn't VR.
Yeah,
I agree though. There's, I think I'm going to dive in when it's out, play through the Media Molecule things, give that a go, get a general whiz bang of it all. Probably open up the Create VR game thing just to go, that looks fucking ridiculously complicated. I'm out, and call it a day. And then I'll probably not touch it again for at least a couple of weeks until there's some stuff actually starting to come out with it. Because although there might be some cool stuff posting up straight away, people are probably going to tweak those things as they do, as we learnt, you know. So I reckon play it when it comes out, then might return the Dream segment for a month or a couple months, or maybe like whatever it is,
VR exclusive stuff.
Yeah, we'll just do VR only Dreams games probably for a little while. So yeah, maybe like 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't know. It depends on. I'll wait 2 weeks after it's out, have a squiz, and then decide like this is taking off, or might just wait another couple weeks, kind of thing. And then we'll start diving through some stuff and discussing some play creations after that point.
If you've got any suggestions, obviously Dylan's handle in Dreams is @FeverlyDill. Or you can find the Platinum Explosion list of Dreams games there.
Send them to me.
Just send them to him, so it's easier.
Send me to the games. I haven't opened Dreams in quite some time because
busy.
I've always had something to play lately, which is, you know, good and bad, but looking forward to dropping back in for some VR stuff. Should be fun. And I'll do it for this week's episode of the show. F.I.S.T is Game of the Year. At least 2 PlayStation 5s were made in the last minute, so that's great. And if you would like to follow us on Twitter, you can do that by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can suggest topics or send in subjects for the topics for the show by emailing mail@explosionnetwork.com with this subject line, Platinum Explosion. And until next week, remember that I'm pretty sure that was 30 seconds and another PS5 was just made. Every trophy counts. Bye.
No, like half of PlayStation got
made. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.